I really had no intention of going into leadership and management. I was actually in school to become a nurse practitioner and work in the intensive care unit. But the nursing director at the time went on maternity leave and asked me to fill in for her, and I loved it. And she came back from maternity leave and said, "Did you like it?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, it was fun." And she said, "That's good, because I'm leaving, and we want you to do this job." And I was like, "Oh, but I'm sort of going in a different direction." She goes, "You're meant to do this."
You are meant to do it, and you were great at it. You played a very big role in my professional development. I was a new pediatric ICU fellow. You took me aside and said, "Hey, can I talk to you in my office?" Do you have any recollection of that conversation or not really?
What I remember was more of the impetus to do it, because I saw great things in you and things weren't clicking. And I thought, this is a great opportunity to help smooth the way for somebody.
You're very direct. You said, "You've got to stop patronizing the nurses." You said, whenever you leave a bedside, you say, "Are you okay with the plan?" And I said, "Well, I really kind of want to know." You said, "Well, they aren't used to having people ask them that." I said, "Well, they should be used to." So clearly we weren't clicking. I was genuinely interested in whether this person, who was much more experienced than I was at that point in time, agreed with the plan. But I must have been delivering it in a way that intimidated them, or they thought that I was asking it in a sarcastic way. And I remember being crushed, but also being grateful that you had taken the time and energy to share that with me so that I could get better. When you were a clinical leader, was it hard for you not to take some of the tough stuff you saw home?
I think there's always part of it that you take home. And I have this very, very distinct time when I think I'd had 3 children die on me that week, which is unusual. I was going to keep it together, and Father Piactelli walked up and looked at me and said, "Are you doing okay, Katy?" And I just burst into tears.
I was on call the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, one of the years during my fellowship. And my whole family had flown in to Salt Lake to have Thanksgiving with Mary Carol and with me. And at that point, we had Alex, who was about 2.5 or 3, and Martin was still an infant. And I had taken care of a child. His first name was Autumn. Autumn was almost exactly the same age as Martin was. The child was floridly septic, and we did an excellent resuscitation. And over the next 12 hours, she died. I remember going home, and I was fine until I saw Martin. And I just kind of couldn't believe what had happened and how lucky we were and how that family would never be the same. But part of the thought process is what a privilege to be able to do the work we do, even when it doesn't go well. Having balance and perspective and a sense of greater meaning has been the antidote for me. If the world is going to be so cruel at times, I want to be part of something that tries to be the counterbalance to that.